A new book is exploring Manitoba's political history and future landscape. It's titled The Keystone Province, Politics and Governance in Manitoba. It's written by adjunct professor in political science at the University of Manitoba, Christopher Adams. Joining us now is Christopher Adams. Good morning, Chris.
Hi, Rochelle. Nice to be with you again.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on this new book. Tell us about it.
Sure, and it's edited by myself and Professor Kelly Saunders at the University of Brandon University, and it's got over a dozen original pieces by about 13 authors who are mostly in Manitoba, and they're based in different universities around the province, including the University of Winnipeg, Brandon University, and the University of Manitoba. So it's a book that's long overdue. Kelly and I, when we were putting together the idea for the book a few years ago, we thought, look, we haven't had a book about Manitoba politics that gives the overall landscape for well over a decade, and it was time that we brought something up to speed with the public.
Well, tell us some of the political history you're delving into this book.
Yeah, so we start off with the first chapter with Bob Coots has written about the Métis resistance and Manitoba coming into Confederation. And we work on, we have Fletcher Berrigar from the University of Manitoba, who's an economist. He writes about the economic context for politics, and a number of other pieces that go right up to women in politics by Joan Grace at the U of Winnipeg. And then we've got a number of chapters about political parties. I wrote the piece on the NDP. Kelly wrote the piece on the Liberals, and Royce Coop, who's a well-known political scientist here in Manitoba, wrote the chapter on the Progressive Conservatives. So it really does, if someone's a political junkie, it's a book well worth having. And we also had permission from Shipra Verma, who's the Chief Electoral Officer for Manitoba, and she allowed us to do an appendix where we put all the election results going back to 1870, and also the history of election laws in Manitoba.
Well, that's really interesting. Now, what are some of the key takeaways on how that political history has changed and molded policy in this province?
Well, you know, the title of the book is The Keystone Province, and so we position our this province is sort of in the center of Canada. It's not just one type of society. There's a whole bunch of different elements within our society, and in some ways, it's a microcosm of all the differences across the country that have come together in Manitoba. But it is a province that's really developed quite a lot over well over 100 years, and it's been a province with many colorful episodes, such as the general strike in the early 1900s to the last election. The book takes us up right to 2013 and Wab Kinew's election. So we're coming up to the second-year anniversary, so it's quite timely that the book is launched.
Absolutely. Now, given our political past, are you surprised by where we're at and now today politically in this province?
Well, I would say that, you know, we've gone through a number of things over the past 10, 20 years, including COVID, including changes of government. We had Pallister and Heather Stephenson before, and now Wab Kinew. So we've had an alternation of political parties governing the province. And you go back to 1969 when Ed Schreier won the first NDP victory. So there have been an alternation of parties here in the province. And chiefly, we have a political culture that's mostly peaceful, even though we've had periods of time when there's been problems of unrest, including the French language debates in the 1980s. But I should say, Rochelle, you know, I was meeting with Anita Neville some time ago, the Lieutenant Governor of the province, and she said, why don't we have the book launch at Government House? So it's being launched on the 14th of October, but we're also doing a second event on November 6th at McNally Robinson. So we plan to do a really big splash, Kelly Saunders and myself.
The Keystone Province. Thank you so much, Chris. And again, congratulations.
Thanks, Rochelle. Take care.
You too.